We're going to cut into your balls today.
I was like, which way are we leaning? Like, should I start saying bye to the boys,
Yeah.
And I shit you not, he told me, he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I could open you up and everything's fine, or everything could be scrambled up. He's like, I'm not really sure.
Scrambled?
Yeah. And I was like,
scrambled eggs?
Yeah. And I looked at him
Huevos?
and I was like, cool. Like, yeah, that seems fucking like a normal response. But I kind of also fucked with the nonchalantness of it.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want
Yeah.
this guy fucking wearing his Beats.
Yeah, no, I do. I was
Exploring
like,
my balls.
he was so chill. And I was like, I respect that,
Yeah.
He's been around some testicles before.
This guy knows balls.
I liked Dimetap when I was a kid.
I like a lot of cough syrups. Like ZzzQuil. That's not for
Have you ever tried the honey one?
ZzzQuil honey?
There's I don't know if it's ZzzQuil or NyQuil, one of those things, but they have honey on it. And I was like, this should be fine.
It's like for your throat.
Yeah, that thing sucks. It
tastes like...
sucks so bad. Yeah, it tastes like expired honey. It's
gnarly.
I have tried it, and nothing beats the standard ZzzQuil. Like, I used to have to keep myself from drinking more because it was that good. It's like I would always say, like, it would be really good with like some Malibu rum and an
a little bit lean.
and an umbrella.
Yeah, 2 styrofoam cups.
Yeah. Some lean.
Just a little something light.
I loved lean. Shout out to lean. Do they still prescribe that?
I think so. One of the guys at
They
the
just
shop.
not as frivolous as they did.
Well, I don't know about prescribing, but I know one of the guys has some at the shop because he's been sick, but he got it from Mexico. And it's called rompe pecho, which is in English. Yeah, which in English is
that cold right out.
Yeah, chest ripper, which is like, I don't want to take that. Like, he showed me, he's like, oh yeah, I got this this Mexican one. And I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this doesn't make me want to take it.
Chest ripper.
Chest ripper, yeah.
What about the ones that it's like it's not prescription, but it's like cold medicine and it has the XL on it? You guys know what I'm talking about? It's like a Mexican one. They have it here.
Yeah.
But it's a Mexican one. And it looks like it would be gas station boner pills. Like the packaging is so aggressive.
Those
It's like
are gnarly.
It's like a metallic. It's like metallic gold. It's like crazy.
I've never understood that whole like gas station pills craze and honey packs and stuff like that. Those things look like they're just gonna give you a headache and you're gonna shit yourself.
Yes. But yes.
I don't know. Fuck that.
I have a friend that... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
I was just going to say, they come in those like space-like capsules. I see them on like 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven at my house also sells Plan B, which I didn't know they did that. But
that's very nice of them.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live in a nicer part of Long Beach now. I used to live like almost downtown Long Beach, and that shit was crazy.
So it sounds like it's a progressive motive.
Yes.
I have a friend that I've told this story on the podcast before, but I have a friend that he took one of those gas station boner pills on his first date with this girl. Like they were gonna hook up after like everything went great, and like they hit it off so good that not only did they fuck, they were gonna hang out the next night. The next morning, he woke up and his face was, I guess, like on hitch,
Insane.
like just so swollen, and that he had to come up with an excuse because she didn't know he had taken a boner pill. So he had to like be like, I think I'm coming down with something. Can we reschedule?
That's crazy. I don't. I never understood it. Which I guess is a good problem to have, right?
Well, see,
he's all natural. He's making you look like a chump, bud.
No.
Like Trump?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
I think that's all my time that I had. So, yeah, you're a little off color there, but
it
you're
is a
close.
little red, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I would ever need it, but if you're trying to fucking
fuck.
No, I think you know what the funny thing is, and I feel like people don't believe me when I say it, but I'm kind of
best.
No. I feel like I'm autistic when it comes to that stuff because I just don't care. Like,
yeah,
I
don't care about what?
I'm a relationship guy. Like
you're a romantic.
Yeah, I am. And it's
He's
fine.
like, and I'll give this trash dick to my girlfriend.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No, it's just that stuff never really matters. I see the guys at the shop, and I've seen other people like that, and they're so like, they're just so focused.
Involved.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older, and my testosterone's lower, but I just don't care.
Are you
know?
Are you a single guy? You married?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
The ladies.
Yes. I am not looking for anything at all, and I do not want anything. There's a lot of
Single
stuff.
and avoidant.
You were gonna drive so many girls crazy with this attitude.
No,
it's you definitely can't. I'll tell you that much. My therapist can't fix me.
Him.
Yeah. And it sounds kind of pretentious because I hate talking about art so much, but I do love it. I love my career. This is like one of the only times in my life where I really focus so much on the shop, my art career. I am newer to tattooing, so it's very hard for me to, I don't know, feel comfortable in the role that I'm in. I kind of got tossed into the whole like shop owning stuff really early. It was supposed to be me and 3 other guys. And those dudes kind of bailed on me as soon as I signed the lease.
Dude, we hear this so much.
Yeah,
so much.
Yeah, but I had the hindsight of knowing that could happen.
Yeah,
that's good.
I knew that it was a potential. I knew it was a risk that I was having. And I was kind of skeptical because we were supposed to split everything 3 ways.
Yeah.
And then things kept kind of falling apart. But we were getting closer and closer. I ended up like signing the lease, and they were supposed to put in some money on it. And then they didn't. And then
wouldn't you know?
But it is what it is. I knew we weren't ready for a private studio, or we wanted that, or by any means. We were newer tattooers. I think I was like 3 or 4 years into tattooing at that time. So I definitely didn't have the experience to want to own a shop or run a shop or anything like that. But we already had signed the lease, and there was not much I can do at that point. I was kind of fucked for 2 years. So that's what I was telling you. Like, me and my brother went to go look at this place. It felt right. The building owner was super nice, like this old like Italian lady from New York. And she's like, dude, she was the best lady. She's like, you tattoo? She's like, I want to get a tattoo on my butt, but my daughter doesn't want me to, and this and that. And she would just tell us a story. So it just felt really natural,
So all this to say that this is why you don't like your dick hard.
Yeah, it's all that to say that's why my dick doesn't work, because I feel like nothing has aged me more in life than owning the shop.
Oh, than owning my dick.
Yeah, that too. But dude, I've never felt older in my life.
Have you guys?
Yeah.
Well, you guys have never been this old.
That's also true. This is my first time. Yeah.
So
this is the oldest I've ever been.
That is how age works.
Dude, same. Yeah. Cheers to that. Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen those pictures of what it looks like, what a president looks like when they go into office versus when they leave?
Yeah. Oh, dude, if you see a photo of me from 3 years ago, I'm full of joy. I have hope for humanity.
Yeah, this is a new Nestor.
Yeah.
So this is almost like the first time us meeting.
Yeah, like this cynical, I hate life and I hate people version of me. Yeah,
you were so bright before, and you had a smile.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know if you know this, but Jimmy was like one of the first people to tattoo me like professionally. I've gotten like shittier tats before.
Shittier?
Like
his was still shitty, but
I mean it was you did one of the cat memorial one, and I still get so many compliments on that one.
What is it?
The cat one, the Cholo cat. It was like a memorial one I have on the back.
Yeah.
Okay, so I found his Instagram because I took some girl on a date. Fuck, this was a while ago.
This was at the first location of Infamous.
So that was 2016, 2017.
Yeah, I had just become a fireman. I want to say like a year or 2 before that. So I had money. I didn't have problems.
Yeah.
I had joy. I had happiness in my eyes.
So more money, more problems is really a thing.
I honestly, I would argue to say less money, more problems. Because I had no problems back then. I was young. I didn't have anything really going for me besides, wasting my life, being a fireman and making money. But I took a chick on a date to this pizza place in Rosemead, out of all places.
Oh, was it Rose City?
I think
it was Rose City.
Yeah, and there was an art. They had an art show there or something. And one of Jimmy's pieces was on the wall, and I remember it was a clipper ship made out of pizza.
Yeah,
mine was too, but I guess you only liked his.
I did. I only saw that one. I really only did see that one, and then I remember I followed you, and that was like the first time I saw. Like, I knew I liked traditional. I didn't know what kind of traditional or what the difference was between all these versions. And I saw that one, I was like, damn, that's pretty sick. And that's when I started following your work. And then I got a bunch of tattoos from you, and I was very happy back then. joy.
I was happy.
Yeah, I was happy. I was full of joy.
And I'm glad I had a huge part in you feeling that way.
That was before I even like thought about tattooing or wanting to tattoo.
Would you say that maybe James was like your fairy tat mother? Like, was it like you talked to him?
I wouldn't go that far, and that would make me uncomfortable.
So
but also hurt my feelings if you say no.
So just a fairy,
you just
then.
AI it saying that I did, yeah.
So you're just saying that he's a regular fairy. We'll move on.
Fairy.
Now, when did you decide that you wanted to learn to tattoo? Because you obviously had a whole ass career, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was what I wanted to do with my whole life. I grew up like pretty poor, you know, and my family immigrated here from El Salvador. So, you know, going to high school, I kind of just, you ever seen that movie Lords of Dogtown? Like the surfer and skate movie?
Yeah.
That was like my childhood in a nutshell.
Lucky?
Like, yeah, dude, it was great.
Bitches and 40s and skateboards?
Yeah. When we got into high school, my freshman year, we had just moved. So nobody had my home phone number. Like the school didn't. They didn't know how to contact me. So I just ditched.
You're like, I'll just show up when I show up.
Oh, yeah.
You calm down.
Yeah, exactly. Every day, like, me and my friends would either make the decision to go to school or we just sneak back to my place, we grab some surfboards and we take the bus down to like Sunset and we just surf all morning and we get
You're
like
surfer guy too, huh?
Well, that was back then. That was once again when I was full of like joy and happiness. Yeah. I had hair down on my like chest and everything. And then you know, I got kind of tired of that. I was just smoking weed and drinking all the time and I kind of, you know, I looked at my parents and they were both immigrants and they both had
Did you manipulate them because they were immigrants and they didn't know how the American
No, they knew how it worked. They knew very well. They
So
just
then
nobody could contact them. So they thought I was going to school, you know.
Did you guys not have a house phone?
Yeah, but they didn't have it.
The school didn't.
No, yeah, because when we moved, we changed everything. Because we
so
used
they
to.
have the old
They had all the old info. They had
And
the
you
old
just
address. I never
left
updated.
it
No,
like
hell
that.
no. Yeah. So I just partied my whole freshman year, and I got kind of tired of it. One of my friends told me about like the Explorer program, which is like a junior fireman thing. And I kind of contemplated it. He's like, but you got to cut your hair. And just like the movie, you know, Jay Adams like shaves his head and shit. I just did that the night before the tryouts. I shaved my head completely. And then I went there and I loved it. And I loved that whole thing. And I just got super involved in it. I think the first time I did CPR, I was 16. And I remember,
like in real life.
Yeah.
Like you needed to because of an emergency.
Yeah. You would do write outs with them and stuff like that. So
dude, walk us through that.
And they're like, "Go ahead, kid. Let's see what you got."
Go ahead.
Yeah. I remember. I remember that is burned into my mind. Like, it was. Yeah. It was the senior center right across the street from the fire station. They called for CPR in progress, and we showed up. And I'm standing there like, you know, shitting myself because I'm like, that guy's dead. Like, what the fuck? And these guys are doing a bunch of stuff. And they're like, hey, like, do you know how to do compressions? I was like, yeah. They're like, we'll get in there. And I just started compressing this guy's chest. And I remember that because I was 16. And they shocked him. And then you shove this thing called an NP or an OPA. It's like a little blade that you put in their mouth so they don't bite down. And you can
blade so they don't bite?
Yeah, it's a little plastic blade.
Oh, okay.
But they shocked him and he spit it up into the air. And I had to shove it back in there. And I thought it was like the coolest thing ever.
So you got like a rush of adrenaline, probably,
easily.
and were like,
So
I want this forever.
Yeah, and that kind of set me down that path of like wanting to do that, you know. And it's funny though, because like you look at how much your life changes over the years. And back then, if you would have told me like where I would end up, I'd be like, damn, I fucked up, you know. I thought that's what I wanted. I thought I wanted the white picket fence, the golden retriever, you know, the 3 kids and all that kind of stuff. But you know, I joined the department officially as a fireman like 2013, 14.
Yeah.
I was a medic and everything, so I thought I had everything I wanted. But then Trump's first year in office, it started getting real dicey for me at the department. You know, people kind of want
like your peers.
A little bit, yeah.
Oof.
You know, it is a very blue collar job.
Yeah.
I love the guys, and they all very
red, white, and blue collar.
But it is very red, white, and blue collar. You know, and it was during that first year of Trump, and you remember that, like COVID years, people started getting kind of like it was. Well, we're Republican. We're just trying to make America better, and it just started getting really polarized.
Yeah.
So I got tired of kind of like defending that point. But the main thing that kind of drove me into tattooing was I bought a motorcycle because I was a fireman. I was young. I didn't have anything to.
You were able to?
I was able.
What am I
to.
gonna do with all this money?
Dude, that's how I was.
I need a new bike.
Yeah, it really honestly back then I didn't know how to manage my money, and
you just wanted a bicycle that you didn't need to pedal.
I did it. Yeah, exactly. That's all it was like I was buying shirts off these online ads that would pop up. They loved me, dude. I was a targeted ad because I would see something. Like, that's cool. I'm gonna buy it. You know, because I didn't grow up really getting anything, so it was really nice to be able to buy whatever I wanted. I had an apartment, and I would leave the AC on for 4 days while I was gone to the station, and I'd come back and the AC was still running the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know, yeah, whatever.
I think there's something about that, like growing up, not having anything like you said. Mm-hmm. And then when you get money, it's fucking hard to stay disciplined.
It's a scarcity complex.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I grew up watching people have everything around me, especially natural born citizens and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like when I went to college for my EMT and my medic, everybody got financial aid. Everybody did. And what did they buy with it? They bought Beats, they bought laptops, they bought everything in the world except for school supplies. And I was struggling to buy just my books that I needed.
Yeah.
And I never got financial aid because of that, because of my immigration status. And it sucked. So once I started making money,
I'm going to get those Beats.
Did I ever use them
anymore?
Yeah, they're 10 years old at that point. I'll buy them anyways, you know? But that's why I bought the motorcycle. I was looking around, and one of the firemen that I work for, he's like, I have a motorcycle. He's like, after my kid, my wife doesn't want me to ride it, so if you want to buy it. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't know how to ride a motorcycle at that time.
Whoa.
So my great plan was to we drove to Lancaster with my friend, and the plan was to get there early, fill up the bike. I watched one YouTube video on how to shift properly. And then my plan was to ride it around the neighborhood.
How old were you at that point?
24.
So your frontal lobe was still developing.
Barely. I would say 65% of the way there. But so my plan was to ride it around, burn some daylight, get a full gas tank of shifting and going through there. But we got there really late and it was getting dark. So I was like, we either stay here and I have to ride this from Lancaster to Long Beach in the middle of the night, or I just go for it. And I just went for it. And I stalled the bike 30 times in LA traffic and didn't die somehow. And I made it home. And
you were on the freeways?
Yeah, you have to from Lancaster. There's no way. Then you got to go all through downtown LA. You got to go through all those.
Downtown was probably scarier than the freeways.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't know how to downshift or anything like that. So the bike would stall out and I had to just hold the clutch and kind of guess what gear I needed to be in and then turn it on while I was still rolling and splitting lanes. Yeah.
What was that like in here? Were you freaking out?
And then the one-way streets downtown, too. You're having to pay attention to that.
I felt like I was going to shit myself. But I was like, there's no way I could stop. So I'm either going to die or I'm going to make it home. I made it home. So.
I just shit myself.
Yeah. But, okay, so that leads to this next part, which is why I got into tattooing. So I had started getting tattooed a lot because I had money. I had gotten tattooed by you a bunch of times.
You had so much money.
I had.
We're going to need you to go back to being a client.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to like me as a client now because I have nothing to my name.
It's all in the shop.
It's all, not even that. That's even negative equity. So you're losing money tattooing me. But I wanted to get my helmet painted. I've seen some cool people do it with one shot and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I was dating this chick at that time who was kind of into tattooing or getting tattooed a lot. So that's kind of what we bonded over. And I got a couple quotes. They're pretty high, which is standard. When I look back at it now, I'm like, that wasn't even that much.
He's like, but I had so much money.
Yeah.
And
that's the funny part. I don't know why that bugged me so much. I was like, you want $300? Hell no, dude. And
now if somebody doesn't want to pay $300 for a tattoo, you're like, fuck you.
Yeah. I do some big ass piece on somebody and I'm like, all right, dude, I'll give you a discount. That'd be $800. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, fuck you. Pay it. No, I love my clients. Don't get me wrong. They're great. But yeah, so that's what kind of got me into painting and art and stuff like that. Cause she's like, well, why don't you just do it yourself? You're always doing art and painting and doing shirts and stuff. Aww. But I thought everybody did that. I thought everybody doodled in their
Yeah.
you know, in their books and stuff like that, especially when I was being a piece of shit in high school.
At this point in time, it sounds like you looked at your art as a pastime. You didn't even realize it was a passion.
Yeah, at all. I didn't, you know, my sister drew a little bit too, but she would always like draw like Looney Tune characters and stuff.
Heck
So I
yeah,
just thought
dude.
it was like,
Shout out to Bugs.
yeah, she would draw Tweety all the time. She loved Tweety.
And Tweety.
Oh, is your sister a
Yeah.
chola?
No, you surprisingly not. To be honest with you, I thought she was gonna play for the other team for a while. She grew up very much a tomboy. And then she got married and had kids, and she loves her husband, and we're all surprised by it. You know, she's great though. I love her, and she knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I just looked at it as like everybody did this. Everybody got bored in class. Everybody, you know, zoned out, and you didn't have iPads, and you know,
Yeah.
I remember my first cell phone was my first cool cell phone was do you remember the
Sidekick?
Verizon? No, I wanted the Sidekick.
No,
All the
yeah, that
fucking
was
cool
rich
kids had
kid shit.
sidekicks. Yeah, and I couldn't afford it, and I would just hear all day long like, and then you hear 'em, you know, then you start tapping. I'm like, fuck, dude, I didn't have that. I had the chocolate envy or something like
The
that.
chocolate.
Do you
Yeah.
remember that? Yeah, it had like a little, like 2 or 3 touchscreen buttons. And I thought that was so fucking cool.
Oh my god! I
Yeah.
remember the commercial too, and it was like doing like a
Yeah.
slow 360 to show
Yeah,
it to
I
you.
thought it was so cool because I was like, yeah, I don't need a sidekick. I don't care.
Nah, I got the chocolate, dude.
Yeah. It had touchscreen though, and every now and then I had music on it. That was like the only phone I ever had that music. And every now and then I'd be like, is somebody playing The Doors? Like I could kind of hear it. And it was all the time I would accidentally hit it in my pocket, and it would be Light My Fire by The Doors in class. I'm like, oh fuck, dude. But yeah, so I just thought kids did that, you know? I thought you just got bored and you drew and you like did shit like that. I never thought I was good at it by any means. But I was like, all right, I'll start practicing it. I'll start trying to like, you know, draw more traditional stuff. I was kind of leaning towards that.
I remember one of the appointments that you came in for, you were like, yeah, man, I'm really getting into like traditional art. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
You
Like,
want to beat the shit out of me?
I
Like,
did, dude.
yeah.
After you left, dude, I talked so much.
Did you?
No.
Do you remember if you did? If you were like, oh, another one?
No, I didn't.
You know, I will not take offense to it because I remember like some of the conversations I would have because I was getting tattooed a lot. And I was asking some of like the most craziest things, you know? Shit that I would want to beat somebody up for now. And I didn't know any better. I didn't know the tattoo etiquette.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what are you using? Like, what do you draw? Like this and that? Like
Supplies.
yeah, exactly. Like right in front of their faces. And I was like, I look back at it. I'm like, damn, fuck.
That's the equivalent of. Have you heard his story about the tattoo on his arm that he made the guy stop like after the outline?
No.
Tell
He
him
was like,
really
how do you
quick.
want it colored? And I was like, oh, no, you can stop there. I got a good color guy back home.
No way.
It was before he was a tattooer, and this guy
Yeah.
was doing a free tattoo on him.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing though, like when you're not a tattooer, you don't realize how fucking offensive the
Yeah,
shit is.
exactly.
In my defense, I was 16, like 0 frontal lobe development at all.
Yeah, and you're so unaware. You know, a lot of people get mad at our clients and stuff because they say some
Yeah.
weird shit. But it's a lot of that is like, you know, they're just not used to being in that
Naivete.
environment, you know? And I don't really feel like it's my fucking place to teach them tattoo etiquette or anything like that.
Do you guys correct people when they say tattoo gun?
Nah.
Not anymore.
I don't either, especially if I think that they're like gonna be scratchers, because I'm like, this is gonna differentiate.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when they're like, hopefully this will save people from getting a fucked up tattoo. When they hear the word gun, they're gonna be like, this person's not a tattooer.
They don't know shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to think it was like my job to educate, and now I'm like,
No, I love
It is what it
one of my
is.
greatest passions in life of watching people burn themselves alive, you know?
wow.
Like,
You just sit back with popcorn?
Yeah, I just watch it and it's like, I'm not gonna correct this. Like, it's not my job to teach you how to like be a human being. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you make your mistakes. I made my fair share of them, and you know, somebody should have popped me in the mouth a couple of times, but luckily I didn't. So, but yeah, so that's what kind of got me into like wanting to draw and paint and stuff like that. And I was making corny ass shit, and I would post it, and people would love it. And people started asking me for like logos for like their businesses and shit. I didn't know how to do any of that shit.
Yeah.
Those things are trash out there. And I remember the first
All these failed businesses because their logo sucks.
because of my logos. Yeah, 100%. But I remember the first check I got from somebody's business, and it had their business name and it had my name on it. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, you know? But it just became such a hobby, and it became such a passion, like super fast too. And I was at the fire station. I would draw all over like the whole kitchen
all
table.
over the trucks.
Yeah. I would be like, we'd go on calls and I'm in the back seat with my headphones on, like going to this fire or something. And I would always carry a little notepad with me and I would just draw like cherries.
They're like, Master, hurry. You're like, I'm almost done.
Hold on, dude. I got to get this shading right. I just loved it so much. And it just really like engulfed me.
That is the cutest thing. Like all these like burly ass firemen going to put out a fire, and you're just like Ferdinand the Bull, like
in the back seat drawing flowers, like
listening to classical music with his beats.
No, the beats were out of batteries, dude. I didn't put the batteries for the bass in them. It was so funny though, because it was like it was every day, like and it got to the point where people were like, "Oh, well, why don't you tattoo?" And I was like, "Fuck no, I don't tattoo." And they're like, "Why not?" And I was like, "You're right." Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, and one of the things I've loved, not to like harp on the whole being poor growing up and stuff like that, but it really pushed me into this ideology of like, well, it doesn't matter that you have fucking money and you had all these opportunities. I love living off the thrill of doing something better than somebody else that has so much more of an advantage. And
that's cool.
I think art transcends that kind of like space because you don't need to have money. You don't need to have any of that stuff. You can just do art with whatever you want. And if you're really passionate about it, and arguably I tell the guys in like the shop this all the time, is like, the worse your life is, the better your art is.
Same with music.
Any kind of creative space like that. What happy artist do you know that's also good? Like none. Like we all hate ourselves deeply. We all hate our work.
Yeah, and even if
we've talked about this,
if some artists appear to be happy, I mean, a lot of times it's a mask.
We're very egotistical creatures, right? We all sit here, we will laugh and everything like that, and we are.
I'm not sensitive.
Who's sensitive? But we are very egotistical creatures. That's why we do what we do. We don't do it because we just like the money, which is also good sometimes. But we do it because it makes us feel human and it makes us feel alive when somebody looks at their arm and they're like, dude, this is so sick.
Exactly what I want.
Yeah, and you get that little rush of endorphins that we seek so much, like little crackheads,
the best is better than I pictured it.
Yeah, dude, this is I didn't even think this was what it's gonna be. And then you bask in that little joy and it fades off just like that. And then you go back to your depressed little life, and then you strive and you push yourself harder to make something that lasts better. You know what I'm saying?
The thing too, though, is that moment is so quick that by the next morning, well, not only do you forget it right away, then by the next morning, it feels like work again, that you're like, fuck, I gotta go to the shop. Like, fuck, I gotta get out of here already. And then once you start tattooing and you turn off the rest of the world, then you like it again, right? And then it's just over and over.
No crackhead likes to wake up the next day and go find 80 toasters to take apart so you could sell some scrap metal, right? Like, that is what our homework is. We're scrapping those fucking refrigerators.
Yeah.
We're breaking into people's cars to see if we could steal, whatever we can so we can get that fixed again. That part isn't fun, but it's necessary
to keep it going.
And I tell these guys, like, enjoy your work, enjoy the tattoo process, because that is the needle entering your bloodstream, right? When you start a tattoo, you just shove that needle in there.
Yeah.
And as you slowly push that heroin into your system, which is our art being produced, that's where you get that euphoria, and that's where you truly live for a moment,
I want to try heroin.
That's what he's getting from this.
He's like, yeah, no, I can see him.
He's right.
Like, yeah,
Truly.
he's right, dude. I know a guy too. Your Viagra fix, huh?
He snorts it.
But yeah, but that it is. That's what it is. The analogy I always give people is, the story of Sisyphus. He was punished by the gods to roll that boulder up that mountain for all eternity, and as soon as he gets to the top, the boulder comes crashing down. And that is your pursuit of art, and that's how I see it. That's probably why you see the life missing out of my eyes now, because I'm tired of rolling that rock
all the way
up, just to see it roll all the way down. Art will never be enough for true artists, and you will always pursue more, and that's what your job is. That is what our payment is for having this make-believe job, and not just speaking from, my fireman days where I would have to carry people covered in shit and piss, almost dying, all this kind of stuff. That's a regular job. The job we do now, as much as we like to complain, it is truly a dream.
Let's time out really quick. Why don't we do the intro? Because we're 30 minutes in.
I forgot.
And then we're going to get back to the shit and piss thing.
I've got questions.
Oh, there's plenty of those. Yeah,
I need you to carry me out of here.
I got questions. Can you still lift? Go ahead.
I have shit myself. Carry me out.
All right. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Tattoo Podcast. Tattoo Podcast. Sorry, I was thinking about shit and piss.
Oh.
The heroin's kicked in already.
The Viagra.
The Viagra and heroin
the
cocktail.
blood left his brain.
Yeah.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Tattoo Podcast, the only podcast that feels just like a tattoo appointment.
Minus the tattoo, but I mean, I guess we could say whatever we want now.
Yeah, I am Jimmy Jam. This is Sinai. And today we have a very special guest, a once client of mine, now once client, now tattoo shop owner.
Once client, once fireman.
Once fireman.
Once covered in shit and piss.
Yeah. And if he found you hot, he left you wet. Let's welcome Nestor Zelaya.
Hey! I find this is very disarming to a lot of people now.
What is that?
To
like
clock it.
Clock it.
Yeah. I look scary to people, so my way of disarming is.
I thought it was let's go get crab after this.
Ooh, we could.
I'm a seafood guy.
Or crabs. See, dude?
I have crabs.
This Viagra is like it's all he can
I have
think
crabs.
about.
All right, so yeah.
So Nestor. Yeah. So, yeah, because not all of your guys' calls were, we'll get back to tattoos, but not all of your guys' calls were were fires.
No. I want to say it's like, I think the statistic is like 95% of them are medical aids. So most fire
Just kidding.
most 911 calls, almost all of them go through the fire department and police department. But everything you call medic for or anything like that, it goes through the fire department for the most part down here in Southern California. So anything you would call about, the typical cat stuck in a tree, all that kind of stuff.
Wait, did you rescue any cats?
I actually made it on Good Morning America.
You did?
Saving a cat out of a chimney.
This is so heartwarming.
Yeah, I got in trouble from the Chiefs for that because we were supposed to share that video, and the news stations were calling the station to try to get an interview and stuff, and he was pissed.
Oh, man.
That's why he was a dog person, huh?
Probably.
Yeah, he's just shy.
He was just, there you go. That's what it was. But yeah, so everything goes through the fire department. So we would go on everything: heart attacks, CPRs,
Viagra overdoses.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah, a lot of people would show up to the ERs for like cock rings and stuff. They would use like metal ones, and then they couldn't get it off, and they
couldn't get off.
Right. But they would call us, and usually the truck would go, but they would have to go and give them like like cutters or something like that to try to cut those rings off, especially when you use like tungsten.
Tungsten,
yeah.
What is that?
It's like
That's
a part
steel.
of metal. Yeah.
Tungsten steel.
So our ring cutters couldn't cut through them, so you would have to use like a rotary saw or something else to try to
grinder.
cut through it. Yeah.
I had heard of a crazy story that this person tried to surprise their wife by they put their wedding ring, pulled their cock through it. Well, why did I say cock? That sounds gross. Pulled their dick through it. Because you got a whore mouth. They pulled their dick through it flaccid and then got a boner. So then got a boner. What?
Because you said cock. Cock through it.
And then I'm like, why did I say that? Pulled his dick through it. And then got a boner, and then obviously blood rushes through slowly. It turned purple, and then that was the last time he had a cock.
Yeah. I had a lot of people do that shit. It's way more common than you think.
James is like, I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick.
No, mine's too small.
Your ring or your dick?
I was in a very LGBT
horny place
area.
Yeah.
So it happens a lot.
Oh, because it's like more sexually liberated.
Yeah, it's an older
and, like,
population. They experiment a lot more. And there's times where we'd go like on, welfare checks or DOAs, like to see like somebody hasn't heard from their family member.
What's DOA?
Dead on arrival.
Oh.
we'd show up to go check to make sure that they're dead or not. We find the dead body, and we try to look for IDs, and these people would have these. Dude, like, I remember the biggest, like, dildo I saw was, like, this fucking massive. And this guy had...
That's called the Mr. Ed.
Yeah, he had him lined up on his floor like a shooter, like, laying out his guns. Like, they were all, like, dude, I was like, I don't know what this dude's been up to, but that shit is crazy. Out of every 10 DOAs, at least 2 of them would have a collection.
Like, what does one even do with a dildo that big? Well, I mean, I could imagine what they do, but like,
I don't know.
We always like when we joke about it. It's like, you think he's got one in there right now? Like, and we'd send the new guy, be like, you got to check, dude.
Rules are rules.
Rules are rules, dude. We got to
Padawan.
We got to document it down.
You guys, I heard the craziest true thing. This is factual. Okay, in Turkey. I'm sorry if this is offensive to anybody, but this is true. In Turkey, serving in the military is mandatory, I guess, like for like your early, I don't know, adult years. There's 2 ways to get out of it. One of the ways is by like, I guess, like kind of like getting out like on work release, finding a different job, whatever that you have to do. The other is what?
Being gay.
But you know how they bet that? It's not only being gay, no. You have to prove it, and you have to prove it by video, and this video cannot be fellatio. It has to be a fucking, like, you gotta be getting fucked or fucking a dude.
Was the time to use it? Was the time to use her hair?
Is that not insane? So now let's unpack this.
Who's the reviewer of this video?
Exactly. And you're gonna tell me that this was just going through submissions, and then he's like not fucking jacking off.
That's what I'm saying.
I
feel like that's also your out of the, be like, hey, I've watched 4 of these videos. Kind of want to watch more, and they'll be like, yeah, you got to switch, dude.
He's like, I'm not gay, I'm just a patriot. I want our country to be safe.
I'll do OT.
Yeah, and they're like,
yeah.
You get put on the list of like, damn.
Yeah, this guy's getting kicked out of the military.
and also, okay, now think about, so it can't be sucking dick because people have submitted those, I guess, and then they're still made to serve. So imagine you were just trying to get out of military service. You're like, I'm going to suck this dick real quick because I don't want to serve. You submit that video, and then they're like, no, you still have to come in. And you're like, oh, I just sucked a dick for no reason.
Yeah.
How badly do you want that Hellcat?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, dude. How badly do you want that Challenger?
Wowzers.
How crazy
that is crazy.
So,
there's a lot of other countries where it's mandatory like that. Like, I know a lot of Europe's like that. Like, if starting at 16, you have to join the military for at least 4 years or something.
Yeah, Germany's like that. Yeah. I know. I think Israel's like that.
Yeah. How do we get there? Oh, yeah, the dildo thing.
That's a good transition. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us more about the dildos.
No, but it was just very common out in that area and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, how did we even get to that subject?
I don't know, dude. You won't stop talking about dildos.
DOAs and heart attack. Yeah, that Viagra's kicking in now, huh?
We
he regrets taking it now.
Well, if you notice, I've been covering myself.
You cut a hole in the bottom of that can.
It's like when
I get up and it
stays in there.
What's that called? When you cut a can to like fit like a Coke can to put it over your beer.
Oh,
what were they called again?
I don't know what the name was, but I remember that.
Anyways, that's what he's doing with that.
That's my
his
dick.
In there.
Oh, we got there because we were talking about the types of things you would encounter on your calls.
That I like, and I would see, yeah. And the question everybody always asks me about that time is like, what's the craziest thing you've seen?
What is the craziest thing you've seen?
I mean, do you want this show to get depressing, or do you want it to be?
Yeah, we're sad artists. Remember?
Yeah, they honestly,
it's inspo.
It really is.
Draw this later.
Who's that? I always tell people, who's that painter that painted Saturn eating the sun? Have you ever seen that painting? It's like a really famous. It's like it looks like an old guy ripping the head off like this little smaller body.
I don't know.
I want to say it's Goyard.
I'll look it up.
Type in Saturn devouring his sun. But he painted that. I love it. First of all, it's so cynical, but it's so like, I don't know. You just look at it and you feel it. But he painted that when he went like clinically insane, and he painted on the walls of his house. And that's kind of where I'm hoping my PTSD leads me someday. Just batshit insane, shitting on the floor and painting on the walls. Like that is true artistic.
Can you guys see it?
Freedom. Yeah, that one.
Shit.
Yeah. So he painted that when he was like batshit insane. Like, and he just started getting darker.
That son got ass though.
I got tank.
Yeah, that fool's thick.
You know, dumper.
That fool thick.
Yeah. Oh well, here you gotta get that one.
Yeah.
And I just truly.
I love art like that where you could just feel something.
Yeah.
Like that shit. Like that's what. Like I like to draw a lot of faces, and I always did growing up. And there was something about trying to like capture
eat your son.
Eating little kids.
No.
Eating your son. That's better.
Yeah, at least it's your son.
But yeah, just like feeling an emotion like immediately, and it was like those emotions you're feeling are directed by somebody else from a past time.
Yeah, but
crazy.
And the thing is, like, I feel like you see those with those paintings because those people were truly feeling something.
Yeah,
they weren't painting. Like I said, not to go back on people that are happy and creating art. But it just looks so. You know what I hate the most is when I go to a restaurant or something and like they have some sort of painting and it's so obvious. It's like
too on the nose.
Yeah, it's like a person of color with like the word "shut up" over their mouth, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Like the system oppresses us. Like,
yeah,
you're right on. Like, you don't have to be that on the nose. Like, true art is from people that are actually like affected by stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
People that actually live through that pain of being suppressed and ignored and shit like that. And their paintings come across because people aren't doing it to make a statement. They just putting what they feel on the canvas.
Like you don't like things that are done like performative.
Yeah, and that's
like if it's going to be protest, like put your feelings into it. Don't be performative.
Yeah, exactly. You read and education is very key in these kind of topics, and I do appreciate that people want to be involved and they want to speak out. But it's like, damn, dude, like, just be honest about it. Like, really feel that stuff. But when you come to art with people like that, like Goyard, like that guy was just insane. Like no good historical artist had a happy, perfect life. Van Gogh cuts off his ears because he's
my boy, dude. Van Gogh.
Yeah, and his stuff is so like
fallow-epileptic.
Are you epileptic?
Yeah.
What do you take?
Watch.
Keppra?
I was on. Yeah, flicker the lights.
Yeah, turn on the lights on and off.
I was on Depakote for years, but like it, I grew out of it in my like early 20s. Yeah.
He's a medical marvel.
Yeah.
Remember Ross?
Yeah, crazy. I don't know
but yeah, art like that, the one that you're saying, where it's like too obvious, too on the nose. I always just consider it just like college art, like somebody going to school because they want to learn art. They're not artistic.
Yep, and it's usually white girls with dreads that live in Venice Beach.
It's not like patchouli.
Yeah, exactly, and they live in this beautiful beach condo, and they're starving artists because they don't wear shoes
because it was their choice to do
exactly.
that.
Yeah,
it's
and
not
they don't want
their
mom's
upbringing.
money, but they'll take the rent money. Stuff like that always frustrates me because I'm like, dude, I used to live in a garage with like my whole family.
Yeah,
you know what the fucked up thing is? I remember it now. It was a fond memory, but me and my brother would play a game of like who could kill the most rats, and we just looked at it as like a like a fun game and shit like that. And I look back at it, I'm like, damn, it's pretty.
That's pretty sad.
That's sad. Do you and your brother have? Does your brother have tattoos?
Yeah, I've done a bunch of his now. He has like the worst tattoos ever. But I've gotten to a stage in my career now where I could tell people no, especially my loved ones.
Yeah.
All my friends and my family have the worst tattoos I've ever done because I don't want to say no to them.
And then you're at like a big family party or somewhere and they're like, he did this on me, and you're like, no.
It was somebody else, dude. Yeah, I see it all the time.
I just cut off family.
Yeah.
You need a mousetrap tattoo or something.
I know. Well, we've gotten to a point now where like I could tell him like, no, do this. Also, that's kind of what got me into tattooing was watching him get tattooed when I was
and
super
you said
young.
this is garbage.
Yeah, no. Okay, so he's got a few like cholo tats. I grew up in a really like gang like neighborhood. And there's one cholo guy that would tattoo everybody in the city. And I would go with my brother and we'd be there till like 2 a.m. I was like 14 maybe at this time. So that was my first time ever seeing anybody get tattooed. And funny enough, maybe like 4 months ago, I was tattooing at the shop and this cholo guy comes in. He's just kind of standing there. One of the other guys goes and talks to him. And he's saying something this and that. He's like, oh no, I tattoo as well. He's like, yeah, I tattoo in the city called Hawaiian Gardens. And I like me and my Xavier also lived in that city. We both looked up and were like, I was like, what'd you say your name was? And he told us, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, you used to tattoo my brother. Like that was when I first saw tattooing, was you tattooing my brother when I was like 14. He's like, oh shit, no way. He's like, yeah, I get food at the bodega next door all the time. And like,
Fucking
I
A.
saw the shop and I just wanted to come in and say hi. And like, I gave him a tour of the shop and all that stuff like that. So it was one of those like full circle moments.
Full circle.
Again.
And then he's like, can I work here? And you're like, no.
Yeah. Ooh, no, I would love that, honestly.
Buds, I'm stressed. I need tattoo supplies. Life is expensive and everything costs too much right now.
You are not alone. A lot of tattooers are broke as right now. I'm not, but I know that there's people that feel the exact same way.
Seriously, you need needles, ink, medical supplies, and suddenly you're doing math you didn't plan on doing.
Yeah, and we all know tattooers can't do math, which is why we're really excited about this. We just partnered with Kingpin to celebrate their 30th anniversary.
Kingpin has everything. If you had to build your station from scratch, you could do it all there.
Needles, ink, furniture, medical supplies. They have everything you would need from start to finish.
And this is the part that actually helps right now.
We've got a Budcast exclusive code for our buddies.
You get 15% off of your order. So whether you're restocking or just trying to save a little,
this helps you out a lot, and it'll greatly help a tattooer DIY podcast.
Shop KingpinTattooSupply.com.
Use code TattooBuds15 at checkout to get 15% off your order.
Happy 30th anniversary, Kingpin.
And happy savings, buddies. Do you remember your first time seeing someone get tattooed?
I believe it was my sister's boyfriend at the time. Because being into art, I wanted to see him get a tattoo. And I went, and it was actually the artist that taught me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember,
he was getting tattooed?
He was getting tattooed by him, yeah.
Oh.
By the guy who taught me how to tattoo eventually. And I remember, oh yeah, I could do this.
The delusion.
If this fool can do it, I can fucking do it. Yeah.
But I remember asking him a question because he was it was a color piece. And I was like, are you able to mix two of the tattoo inks together? And he was like, sometimes. And I was like, okay, I just won't ask any more questions.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I was 13.
Damn, he's acting like that with a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, why not just be like, yes?
That's a true tattoo artist.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be pissed to have a 13-year-old in here too,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it's different when it's my bud. Answer his questions.
And then he was the one who gave me my first tattoo when I was 15.
Do you still talk to your mentor?
He passed away.
Do you know
Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the same mentor Nick had?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
He just told me about that.
Yeah.
Nick is my mentor. So,
Cool.
to revisit.
So you guys are tattoo cousins?
Siblings.
A little bit, yeah. Rivalry. When I started drawing all these drawings and everything for people, and people were like, "Why don't you tattoo?" And I was like, "Yeah, where the fuck don't I?"
Yeah.
I started just mass emailing everybody like a dickhead. Like, "Hey, how did you get into tattooing?" I knew enough not to ask for an apprenticeship. And most people didn't reply, which is, obvious. Nick was the only guy who actually messaged me to come into the shop and talk to him in person. And then the night before I was supposed to meet up with Nick, that girl that we kind of, we were dating and who got me kind of into doing the art stuff.
Yeah.
I found out she was cheating on me. While I was at the fire station, a friend of mine sent me a post that some other guy had posted, and it was like them two together, and I was like,
oh.
and I've never felt
fuck.
and I was at the station, so I
she
can't
was
just
cheating
leave.
on you big time. Like
Yeah,
if this one
it
was
like-
posting
it
her,
was
he
like a
thought that was his girl.
Yeah. And the crazy part is I know she was from Riverside too, right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. It was IE
Just kid-
girls.
just kidding,
just kidding. It is like a different world out
It
there.
really
It
is. And it was, she lived over there. I lived down in
It's
Long
a
Beach.
long
so
distance
it was
relationship.
a long distance. So we saw each other once a month. No, we saw each other once a week. You know what sucked too? I was working as a medic at the observatory.
Yeah.
So I would get into shows for free. So it was like a big
Sick.
flex. Like we got into, I think, Jimmy World concert.
Yeah.
And I like, we
damn.
just showed up and I was cool with the security guards. And they're like, oh, what's up, dude? Yeah, come on in. Like, come in, go hang out in VIP and this and that. So it's like a big flex move, you know?
Fuck yeah, dude. You were like Ray Liotta on Goodfellas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like they took us to the back door and everything. And then she was super short. So she sat like on the balcony.
Well, she sounds nice.
Yeah.
Whoa, let's hear her out.
But yeah, so we sat on the balcony, and the security guy was like, "Hey man, you guys can't be up here." And then he looked at me, he said, "Oh, my bad, dog. Like, you gotta deal with it." And I was like, "Yeah, you know." And
she
then
fucked up.
Yeah, and then we ran into her friends, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go say hi real fast. I'll be right back." And she just took off, and yeah, and then a few months later is when I found out she was cheating on me. I was like, "Damn it!" So like, I didn't know what to do, and
Do you want to say something to her? Well, if she's watching.
No.
Damn, you don't even care to say nothing.
This guy's fueled by haters.
No, honestly, it was really nice because it's another development into art, and I am very thankful because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have pursued art like I did.
It was part of the journey.
It was part of the journey. And even when I confronted her about it, I was like, hey, like, if you didn't want to be with me, you could have just said something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna chew you out, and it's not my job to like guilt you into being in a relationship.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah. I've been working on like any bad experience that I've had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Or now.
Anything that happens, it's like this is part of the learning.
It is, yeah.
Like, so like don't take it as such a negative thing. Of course it hurts, it it feels bad.
Yeah, feel those feelings.
But like try to change the perspective on it where it's like I'm growing from this. And
yeah, and it's gonna make you a little more cynical. It made me kind of like worrisome, obviously, in relationships and stuff like that. But it's one of those things that you just grow from. And I told her too, I was like, hey, because she's like, what, like, you don't want to yell at me, you don't want to cuss me out. I was like, no, like, that's just gonna make you paint me like the bad guy, and I didn't do anything to fuck up. You could have just told me, and I wouldn't have been happy, of course, but I wouldn't have guilted her into staying.
Now, this era of Nestor, the guy with the deeper pockets.
No, he doesn't. That era back then.
This era.
I was gonna say, no, dude, look at those pockets.
You probably spoiled her.
Yeah, I'd buy everything, like
she fucked up.
Yeah, she did. No, I'm just kidding. No, I wish her the best. I really have no resentment towards her.
We don't.
And it got me to where I am now, and it's funny because it's like, damn, like I've built all this stuff because of like you rolled that ball, and it is what it is. People move in and out of your life, and it's fine. But where's I going with that? That was
I don't know.
Nick.
Yeah.
So that was the night before I was supposed to meet up with Nick, and I remember in the morning I woke up and I was like, "Fuck, man!" I was being all sad boy, my dark ass frozen apartment because I would leave the AC on, and I was like, I could either lay here.
God,
all
it's golden here.
Yeah.
It's like 100 degrees outside.
No, it would honestly. It would be like 110 outside. And it was like 60 degrees in my apartment. And I would have sweater, thermal, and a blanket over me all the time.
I loved
it.
Disrespecting the AC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I burned through that thing in a year. But I was supposed to meet Nick, and I was like, well, I could either stay here all day, be sad, end up texting her back, and then, God forbid, we get back together,
Yeah.
Or I could just go meet up this dude, maybe get a free tattoo out of it. I don't know. And I showed up. Everybody was super nice. We talked for a while, and then he offered me the apprenticeship. And he's like, "Look, your work looks pretty good. If you're willing to be here every day that you're not at the fire station, we'll just drag your apprenticeship longer. And as long as you're trying, we'll get you there." And that's how I started my apprenticeship.
When you say your work looks pretty good, do you mean your drawings, or were you doing scratcher tats too? Okay.
No, God, no. I didn't even know where I would have began with that. I remember one of my friends was doing stick and poke, and I was trying to hit him up, be like, "Hey, do you stick and poke? Like, can you show me?" And this and that, like an idiot, Yeah, I never got around to it.
You just wanted in, huh?
Yeah, I just wanted my foot in the door, and once I got that apprenticeship, it was like a really hard pill to swallow, and that's why I tell people all the time, like, I am kind of ruthless at the shop, and I am kind of firm with the way I see things there, but I am very fair because, like, I wanted it really bad where I was making 160 a year. And then on my days off, which were very limited, I would go to some random strip mall, and clean the shared toilets that were there. Like, it wasn't just the tattoo shop toilets. It was a shared one between everybody. And there was a construction company next door.
Ugh.
So I would clean it.
And those guys,
dude,
shit.
that guy, we're talking about stomach issues.
On
one of those guys definitely had stomach cancer or something.
There's somebody here in the building that has some sort of kidney thing.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
And doesn't flush.
He would shit, but it was like backwards. And I'm like, how do you get it almost under the bowl? Like,
maybe,
I was like, shit, backwards.
Yeah.
Maybe he sits forward on it. On the toilet.
Dude,
Well,
I've
what
seen
is
him.
he
He's a
supposed to do
big
with his
guy.
elbows?
I don't know. I don't know what he was doing on that thing, but I wear a badge, a uniform, like people like thank me when I'm at work and I'm over here on my hands and knees
Cleaning
scrubbing
shit.
toilets.
What do I look like cleaning?
Yeah,
shit
but
out here?
there was only those brief moments of like, damn, this fucking sucks. I remember like 3 weeks into it, I've never held a tattoo machine or anything. He's like, oh, pick a small tattoo. I was like, oh, sick, I'm gonna get tatted, and he set up the machine. He's like, all right, here you go, tattoo yourself. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's all like, just do it. And I buried that shit into my leg. It's a little paradise I have right here.
It's like Braille now.
Dude, he did I think he set me up a 5 or a 7, and that shit looks like a 20. Like, dude, that shit
mine
is
too.
massive.
I did
it. Fuck, dude.
There's like one line that actually looks fine, and he like looked at it after. He's like, damn. He's like, I don't know how you did that. Like, I barely stuck that needle out.
Isn't that funny though? Because when you're watching them before you do your first tattoo, when you're watching them, they're like ask questions, but you don't know what to really ask. You're like, so what size needle is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that looks,
So then when it comes time to tattoo yourself, you're like, I literally don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, this was like a month in, so I wasn't there every day. I was there like 2 to 3 times a week if possible. So I had no idea what to do. I wasn't even setting up machines at this stage or anything.
On top of it being like the element of surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then his whole thing afterwards was like, hey, he's like, I just wanted to see what you would do. He's like, the biggest thing, like, you just can't stop. Like, once you start your tat, I don't care if you feel sick, if you feel like giving up, like, you have to finish it.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's terrible. I've never covered up anything on my legs.
I was gonna say, are you ever gonna cover it up or anything?
Nah, not anytime soon. I have a bunch of like shitty tats on my thighs and stuff. If it ever gets to it,
send us a picture so we could put it in.
Yeah, I'll put it on there, dude. It's fucked. I don't think I felt comfortable making a tattoo until like 3 or 4 years in. Like my first 2 years,
I still don't.
Yeah, my first 2 to 3 years, like I felt like throwing up after every tat because I would get so anxious, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude, I don't want to fuck this up.
I used to think, or I remember thinking, like, I wonder when I'll finally stop feeling nervous before I tattoo.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly when that happened. I just remember one day being like, hey, like, I don't have that feeling anymore. Like, you get more confident in yourself. But I remember, like, every time you're, like, setting up, like...
Yeah.
And then, like, I remember clients being like, wait, are you shaking or am I shaking?
Yeah.
Like when you're putting the stencil on or something.
There's a lot of times now that I get of that reflection of like, oh shit, like I'm a lot more comfortable than I used to be. And I remember when I first started tattooing, I got a job in Venice. I remember I was scared to show people, like even my like portfolio, like, it's like, oh, you should, like, do you want to get one of these? And they'll be like, oh, I was thinking that. I'm like, no, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do whatever you want. Because I was like, if I convince them to do this and it sucks, they're going to hate me even more. So I would just do whatever people wanted. And now I'm like, no. Trust me.
Yeah.
You want this, dude. And then I'm like halfway through the tattoo and I'll wipe and I'm like, oh, shit. And I'll say it loudly. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, no, it's turned out good. I was like, I had no idea how this was going to go, but it's going great. And they're like, oh. And then
it was like one of those reality shows on where there's like intense music playing when it's like happening. And then they're like, the build up and they're like, oh, I love it. And then it's like all like a happy music.
Yeah. But I'm the one doing it. I'm the one saying it. And the client's like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know how it's going to be. Like, because that's what it is. I think a lot of my art and like the tattoos I make, I don't, people ask me, how do you draw stuff or what do you like try to do? And I don't know. Like that part of my brain doesn't speak to the other half of my brain. So the only thing I prep ahead of time is lines. That's it. I don't do the shading. I don't do color.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's the way I was like, and it would like catch some people off guard sometimes. They're like, so what were you thinking on color? And it's like, I don't know. When I get there, I'll figure it out.
I don't even know what I'm thinking about for this next line weight. I'm still setting up.
But now I'm very confident in where I'm like, you should let me try this. Like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna fucking try it. And
then you're like, it didn't work.
Yeah. Ooh, shit. There was only one time where I was like, I fucked this tattoo up. And it was a skull that I was doing, and I tried shading, and it was super fucking dark. And I was like, oh, fuck. And everybody's coming around and be like, oh, that looks sick, dude. I'm like, yeah. I'm covering it with my hands. I'm trying to correct it. but then I just made it like kind of like a burnt skull, and I made the background way lighter so it looked like it was in the foreground.
Yeah.
I pulled that shit out of my ass, and everybody kept coming around at the shop, and they're like, "Dude, that looks sick as hell." And I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, bro, of
Me
course.
too.
You scared? Like, you know?
You scared?
You're like, yeah, I wasn't scared.
Yeah, fucking armpits are just drenched to the bottom, you know? Even like being here, you know, it's like kind of one of those full circle moments where it's like, I never like think of myself as an artist. I don't think of myself as a tattooer, let alone a fucking shop owner, you know? Like, I feel like I'm really early in my career for any of that stuff. Because none of that shit is of value of me. You know? Like, I didn't.
Well, why don't you think of yourself as an artist? Let's unpack this.
Well, it takes
I'm gonna Larry King you right now.
That takes the lawyer?
That was the guy with the suspenders and the shoulders, the old man from
the talk shows. Yeah. I think art is one of those things where you talk about it, and with music or anything like that, it just makes you sound a little pretentious.
So it's because you think you're gonna sound pretentious?
I think it's just one of those things that I never grew up thinking that I was good at, you know? And I feel like I'm still too early into my tattoo career to feel artistic. Now I'm starting to get settled into it a little more, especially now that I'm not with the fire service.
You've definitely come into your own. Like I could tell when you've done a tattoo when I see one.
I remember the first time I heard that was like near the tail end of me being in Venice. And people were like, "Ooh, I saw one of your tats the other day," and like I instantly knew it was yours. And I was like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, yeah. Dude, I saw this fucked up
you took
tat the other
offense
day.
to it. You're all, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch. Like, no, and it's really cool because the moment that changed for me was I was stopped drawing for other people. I stopped drawing for what I thought, like other artists would like.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's an important milestone.
It's such a big one, and I tell that to a lot of like new incoming like wannabe like tattooers and stuff. It's like, stop trying to be the rose guy. Stop trying to be the chrome guy. Stop trying to make a signature. Like, just figure out how to make a very bare bones tattoo. Make good lines, good shading. Figure that stuff out. Everything else will come in play. Like, a big thing I harp at the shop is you can use your iPad. I don't give a fuck. But when you print out those lines, you have to hand draw them. Oh, again, trace over them.
So that's good.
Yeah, so you can
exercise.
see, like, we have microns that are kind of like the size of the liners.
That's smart, yeah.
And I'm like, draw it by hand.
Sorry.
You're probably you're gonna say something smarter than me.
Well, I wanted to go back before we get too far from it. You said that it's an important milestone. I don't think it's a milestone because I don't think that everyone reaches that. You know what I mean? Like, now it's like an important milestone to like push yourself to, yes. But I feel like something similar that we all go through is not drawing for other artists to think it's cool, but also drawing because like you're like, I need to sell some fucking tattoos. Like, what do I think is gonna sell? And how many times have you like been like, oh, this one, somebody's gonna book this one, and then it's just on your fucking feed forever and ever. And
they
then
always pick the shit that you don't want to do too.
Yeah.
But if you, but then there's times where you're like maybe just drawing because you thought of a cool idea, and then like it feels so good when you actually do it.
Yeah, because you're drawing it for like that inner child of yourself, things that you
feeling,
thought you were cool, like, and that's where I draw now.
That's
like
cute.
everything
I
I
like
draw,
that.
everything I do. Yes, we think about it in the social media game because we have to, but you also have to draw stuff that's relevant to you. And I think that's what translates when we talk about Goyard and being clinically insane. He wasn't drawing for other people to be like, damn, they're going to see this guy eating a baby.
It's going to
be sick. Yeah.
He needed to paint that for himself.
He was just insane. He just painted because that's what he saw. And that's what we should, that's how I view it. That's how what I do is I draw for what I would walk into a shop and be like, damn, this thing is cool. Like, I want that, I want this. And a lot of the times where I know, we're talking about, the shots of heroin that we get from this adrenaline and endorphin. The biggest shots I ever get is when I draw something and I finish it on a client. I'm like, damn, I kind of want that. Like, I should have done that.
What were you going to say, Bud?
I was going to say, you mentioned like you stopped drawing and creating for other people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's an important mindset to reach just in life.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Because, like you could apply that to fucking everything, like anything, any line of business, anything. And it's like, that's when it comes out genuine and people can connect to it more for some reason, even though it's tailored to you,
There's
you know?
character
Or even
behind
the way
it.
you live your life.
Even the way you live your life.
I think, a lot of the success, not that I've had a lot of success, but the success I've had in tattooing in such a short amount of time has truly, I think, has been because I am very transparent. The way I present myself online, the personality that we have, as our shop, or our Instagram handle and stuff, is very transparent to who I am as a person. I don't do things to be the cool guy tattooer. I don't do things to, get more followers and stuff like that. I do things because they're things that I love.
And I think that's what makes you the cool guy tattooer.
Which is crazy because I look at it and I'm like, there's one kid, and I remember I was so pissed because he was late. He was super late to his appointment. I was in Venice. I was tattooing a lot, and it was like my 3rd year tattooing, so I thought I was fucking cool, I thought
I don't deserve this.
Yeah, I thought I was nailing it at that time. And then this kid was being late. He told me he was driving from Palm Springs, which is far as fuck. And I was like, God damn it! This fool's supposed to be here at 4. He sent me a couple of messages,
and it's 4:02.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't even that much later. But then it getting pushed. And then it got to the point where it was like we settled on 6 or 6:30, and he tried to Instagram call me, and I was like, fuck this kid, I'm gonna fucking roast his ass.
Yeah,
I've been here for 2 hours, this and that, and I was like, you know what? He's already driven all the way there. I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna tattoo him. I'll make some money. I already waited all day. And then he showed up. He's like a young kid. He was like 18 or 19. And he's like, dude, he's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, me and my dad are gardeners out in Palm Springs, and I had to wait till he was done because I don't have a car. And I tried giving you a call, but I don't know if you saw it, and this and that. And it just made me feel like so much shit because I was ready to roast this kid, because I thought I was so entitled to my 2 hours that he wasted. And he was such a nice kid. He got a web on his elbow. He's like, yeah, I've been following your TikTok for a while and this and that. And he's like, my mom was excited to meet you too because I talk about you. And he's like, can I get a photo with you? And I was like, with me? I was like, yeah, sure, dude. I
love you.
Yeah. And his mom's like, yeah, he always he shows me your videos and he asked me where I could get pants like you and stuff like that. Not that happens all the time, but it was one of those moments where I was like, damn, I was over here
humbled yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I was over here
with one tear.
Yeah, just yeah. And I was like, damn, I was over here thinking my time is so valuable, and this kid just drove 3.5 hours with his parents to meet his idol, quote unquote. And I was just ready to be such a drama queen about it.
And you're ready to eat his head off Saturn.
Exactly. That was me. And it was one of those moments where I was like, damn, this is fucking crazy. I remember I got my hand tattooed by Bert Crack over in New York. He was super nice with me, but it was one of those moments too where I remember I got there. I tried booking 3 months in advance. He was booked up, and I had bought one machine from him back then. And I was like, hey, I tried booking. I just landed in New York. I'll be here for 4 days. If anything opens up, let me know. I would just love to come see the shop. And he messaged me back. He's like, hey, just come tomorrow during my lunch and I'll tattoo you. So I remember going there and I was like, a young tattooer, and this is the mecca of tattooing.
Yeah.
And then he was one of the guys that was like, can I get a photo with you?
Yeah, of course.
It reminded me of that moment when that kid asked me that, and I was like, damn, I was about to roast this fucking kid because I thought he didn't do it the right way.
Yeah.
And it kind of really, after that moment, it kind of settled me into that stage of damn, I am in such a privileged position now. And this whole thing is such a show, of who's the cool guy tattooer. And you guys know the industry, these guys.
But I am
a lot.
cool, guys.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
But the thing about me.
Yeah.
So don't be fucking late to my shit.
Yeah, don't be late. Please don't be late.
No, but that's so true because it's it ultimately costed you nothing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And good thing you did.
Yeah, and it would have it really would have fucked with me if I was mean to this kid.
Not everybody can reflect as in a situation like that.
They can't.
Yeah.
They can't. And I think the part that I'm truly blessed on is that I had a whole career before tattooing.
Yeah.
I can see how easy of a trap tattooing is when you've done it since you were 16 and 17, which I know a lot of guys. I think you guys have Ozzy coming on the show next week, right?
Yeah.
He's the nicest guy ever,
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where a lot of guys that get into tattooing that early aren't that nice because you get around, and you got to think about it. That kid asking for a photo with me, that could easily go to my head and make me feel like I'm this rock
Oh,
star.
yeah.
I can be mean to you.
My feelings were valid.
Yeah, I am this great, you know? You can get so easily in that trap of getting fueled by people praising you all the time because that's what we're looking for, right? We do this art, we do all this stuff for this praise, for this moment of like endorphins that we get rushed. And it's easy to pretend that the whole world views us that way. Nobody gives a fuck about us outside of these.
Especially now.
Yeah, but even then, like, you know, everybody in their like micro circles, because even tattooing is a micro circle in society. And then when you break down tattooing, you have black and gray, you have realism, you have all these things. And then in those microscopic categories, there's even smaller categories, neo-trad, trad, you know, turn of the century, all this kind of stuff. And then those are even smaller circles. So we live in this echo chamber of our clients telling us how great you are, or certain like newer tattooers telling you how great you are. And people let it go to their head and they pretend that the whole world sees us that way. You know, I've had the privilege of becoming really close with Charlie, Good Time Charlie, recently over the last couple of years. And as famous as Charlie is and how long he's been tattooing, if that guy goes to the post office, nobody gives a fuck about him.
Yeah, he's just the weirdo guy.
Yeah, they'll see him and be like, "Oh man, that old guy's
that
pretty
old man's
tattooed.
tatted,
Like, that's
yeah.
pretty cool." But they don't know who he is because they're not in tattooing. So there's a lot of people out there that let it go to their head, and it sucks because you're like, "Damn, bro, like it's not that serious." You know?
If anyone needs to be humbled, what you can do is start a podcast and people will tell you daily how little and how much they don't care about you.
Yeah.
Right, bud?
It's true.
Do you want to?
What is it? Damn, fuck that. Yeah, more publicity comes with more, you know, viewers and spectators and haters, you know? I think the problem is when people, you know, the circus is in town, right? It's here. There's nothing we can do about it. The age of social media, TikTok, and whatever else comes next will always be there. It's transformed the industry for what it is now. You know, I try to keep it as old school of a tattoo shop as I can, but there's things we have to kind of compromise and kind of meet halfway if we want customers and clients.
The necessary evils.
Yeah,
you have to. Just because the circus is in town doesn't mean you have to get your face painted as a clown and join the circus. Because once you start dancing and you start doing all this stuff to get views and to get customers and all this shit like that, once that circus leaves, you're stuck with that paint. And everybody will always remember that and you'll get nothing out of it.
Yeah. I tell like younger artists that, well, or anybody that asks, like when you're like making your own style, like, of course, do the tattoos that people want. And if they want to get something that you don't want to do, but you're or like that you don't want to get toe-holded to, like, do the tattoo, but maybe don't post it because it's like that whole thing. Like, because then maybe it's like more people are going to ask for that. And then pretty soon you're going to have built this clientele off of a style you didn't want to do.
Yeah, we're a walk-in shop and we'll do almost anything that comes through the door as long as we can do a good job at it. And that's what I tell the guys. Do I post all those things? Like, not really.
Yeah, exactly.
When things get a little bit more barren, do I post some of those? Sure, you know.
Good thing I took a picture.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, you know, your idea or mine, and I'll post like something that I don't like doing because at the end of the day, like, then there's times where people walk in and people try really hard to change their mind. Like, you know, I had this recently. I had this cook from across the street. There's a Mexican restaurant, and she wanted like, you know, one of those Pinterest family tats and stuff like that. I'm not gonna convince her to get a dragon on her fucking forearm.
Right.
I'll give her the tat she wants. She's gonna be stoked with it. I'm gonna do a great job at it, and hopefully she wants more.
Yeah, you got a client.
Yeah, exactly. And I did like, she came back. She got like a little like initial on the back of her neck, and this is an older lady.
And now she has a dragon.
Yeah, you know. No, funny enough, I did have. The thing I love the most about our shop is that, you know, I built it because we were talking about the whole fire department stuff and like how it got kind of like a little political for my taste. I got tired of like doing what everybody else wanted, especially in traditional. It is very much a white people game, you know? And you guys have seen a lot of these old school shops. It's really hard to get a foot in unless you're like one of the boys. So when I opened up the shop, I just did things that I wanted to do, much like my style of tattooing. And I made that place accessible because I'm Hispanic. I love traditional tattoos. I hate being in like very, very white Republican spaces. Like, I fucking hate it. I'm not going to play that game because you think you're going to make this country great again or bullshit like that, you know? And I've thrived on.
Yeah, James.
Like, I love golfing. And I love being in white spaces and being better than them at the things that they've created, you know? Like, I fucking love that. And so that's what I made that shop to be. I made it into a space that I can be proud to be Hispanic. The guys that work there are all Hispanic. Not because I'm only hiring Hispanic, but it's just been naturally kind of drawn in. And a lot of the customer base that we have, especially the walk-ins, are Hispanic. And I had this older guy, I think he was 62. He came in on a Sunday, and he had lost a bet with his kid, so he had to get his first tattoo. And he's like, I want a dragon on my forearm. And I was like, okay, do you have a picture? He showed me some AI dragon, you know? And I was like,
It was from the movie Aragon?
Yeah. It was toothless, you know?
I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. I know Toothless.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But he wanted a dragon, and, you know, I kind of showed him some stuff, and I showed him painting, and I put the lines on him. And he went to the mirror. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, let me, like, he left a deposit and everything.
And then he was like, I'm going to be a tattoo artist.
Yeah. He started asking me what needles I used. And, but no, he came in, I tattooed him, and I was talking to the son, and the son was like, yeah, he's like, we went to a couple other shops. And they kind of were just kind of like dickheads to us, you know. We didn't have an appointment or anything, and my dad doesn't know what he wants, and they were kind of being rude to him, and he left, and he was pretty sad because he was stoked about this tattoo. He's like, and then when we just came by here because of the bodegas next door, my dad was super stoked after he left. I was like, A, because I spoke Spanish, and I wasn't making him feel dumb about the AI dragon, you know. I just showed him a fucking traditional dragon. I think it was out of a Spalding book, you know.
Yeah.
And he loved it. And he came in, he got that. He ended up getting a panther. I tattooed his son and all that stuff.
Oh, damn,
like that.
he's all a traditional.
Yeah, I gave him a shop shirt. And I was like, hey, I'll give you this shirt for free if you send me some pictures of you like gardening.
Send me some nudes?
Yeah, just him, just rock hard. No, he just sent it to me while he's he's a gardener. Like, he's still a gardener. He's been gardening forever.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he just sent me some pictures of him like in the t-shirt. But I told him, I was like, just be natural. Like, have your kid like take a photo of you working. And he ended up sending me like these photos of him like posing with the shirt.
How cute.
Like, you know?
I hate when somebody comes in here and they're like, oh, like they went to another shop, a white shop, and that they're like, oh, they told me I can't get this color because it won't show on my skin. And it's like, so fucked up, like, because it's like, dude, how rare is that? Like, even yellow shows on brown skin. It might look more gold, but
it's
you can have it, you know what I mean? And all you have to do is tell them, oh yeah, this might look a little bit, you know, if they're curious, but you don't tell them like, no, you simply can't have it. Like, tattoos were created on indigenous skin.
Yeah.
I think that's because it doesn't benefit their portfolios and their
photos. Yeah, that's what I think it is too.
Or, you know, not to speak for other shops or anything like that, but a lot of the times it's like, doesn't fit their portfolio. You know, they're not talking to them like they want to be talked to, like you know, and it's just like, at the end of the day, it's like, I hear from my friends too, they're like, oh, like, you know, this guy said this and this and that. And I tell them too, I was like, hey, you got to take what these people say with a grain of salt, because A, they're artists, so we're all prima donnas. And then B, you're paying them for their art. If you don't like the way they talk to you, don't pay them. Fuck them. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's you're giving money to somebody. If you really want their art and you really want to pay for it, you have to put up with whatever bullshit they have, you know, which sucks. But if you want it, you have to do it. Or you can find somebody else that'll treat you better, and not treat you like a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
So now, have I push people forcefully out of the shop before, and have I almost beat the shit out of somebody? Yeah, of course, you know. But I don't ever start that way. You know, I treat you like a human being. If you start treating me like a dickhead, I definitely will go there happily, you know. I don't know. I never got behind this like, we're the coolest fucking people on earth, you know. Like,
I was
that's not real.
I was recently in the neighborhood, and I had remembered that I saw your shop one day when I was at Alex's bar in Long Beach, and I was like, oh fuck, there's Nestor's shop. And so the next time I was around, I walked in, and you weren't there because you had just gotten back from Philly.
Yeah.
But two of your artists were there, and I was like greeted at the door like they were the nicest people.
Yeah.
They're all scared of him.
They are scared of him. Yeah. We just got into a conflict the other day with one of the guys. His excuse, or one of the things he was trying to throw at me, he's like, well, you're manipulative, and everybody in the shop is scared of you. And I was like, good. You should be scared of me, not because I'm fucking crazy, but because I care about this place, and I will, like, I'm not afraid to correct people on stuff that they need to be corrected as far as being professionals. And the guys know me very well, and they know that everything I ever corrected them on, or I push for, or the hard lines that I draw, or for the benefit of them as artists and them as professionals. I've never been like one of those guys like, okay, well, one of you has to clean my shoes today. You know, you guys pick. Like, I'm
You
not.
should try it.
I should. Yeah, sometimes I want
I do it to him
you
all the
know?
time.
But yeah, so yeah, I've heard that line before, and I am mean to a lot of people.
Are
But
you?
when it needs to be,
Not unwarranted.
never unwarranted.
Yeah.
I think the guys can like you could ask anybody there, and they can vouch for me. We all get along very well, and the reason they greet you is just because they want to. Like, it's not something that I force or I tell, but I'm hoping that they do that stuff because they see me do that.
That's the thing, is you being what you would like to see out of your guys is different than, I think, the boss of the tattoo shop that's like,
expecting,
go do this, go do that, you know, talking to everyone like they're your apprentice or whatever. Like, if you, I don't know, like, you're there tattooing, so that would make them want to tattoo. Where I've worked for people that they don't want to tattoo, but they expect you to be you know, pulling, and pulling a certain amount of money so they can live their lifestyle that they want.
Yeah, and that's one thing I always tell the guys. Like, I will, like, and I tell everybody that I hire new is like, hey, you will hate me at some point because I will be hard on you every single day. And nothing you make in this shop will ever be good enough for me because nothing I ever make in this shop is good enough for me. So I was like, I will ride you, but it will always be for your betterment and hopefully for your growth as an artist with what little experience I have. So everything I make them do or I tell them to do, it's usually because I've done it. And I'm willing to do that, you know? I'm there every fucking day. I've backed off a little bit as far as like being the first and last to be there. This is going on our 3rd year now, and I'm just so smoked all the time,
I feel like
you know?
that's okay.
Yeah, so every now and then I take off a little early, and then I know I could trust everybody there to like hold it down. And if somebody comes in, you know, you get that positive experience without me being there.
That's what your walk-in artists are for, I feel like, to open and close.
When I talked to them, you know, they were super nice. I was like, oh, I'm, you know, a friend of Nestor's. And then they immediately gave me a tour. And I was like, yeah, I'll have to come by again, you know, and like when he's here, and they were like, come by on Saturday. And they were like, we usually all hang out. Like, we once a week, we go out to like, there were like a bar or something. And I was like, what?
Yeah, you know, and I think
that sounds so cool.
You know, it's funny, like everybody that comes by, even like Ozzy's worked at shops, you know, his whole life and stuff like that. He's like, it's really special what you have here because everybody fucks with each other.
Yeah.
You know, we all go out, we'll go eat, we'll go drink and stuff. I'm trying to take a little bit of a break from that because it kind of messes that lineup. I have like, I think 7 artists now. So it gets a little like hazy when I have to lay down the law because, you know, you blur those lines.
They're like, but Bud, why are you talking to me like this?
Yeah. And I get it. You know, we had a recent one. We had a kind of a blow up too. And it was one of those things where it was like, you know, I get it. I get why you guys are frustrated with me being like saying no to something. I was like, because it's my fault for like allowing myself to be this close. I was like, but I like you guys. I like being your friend. I like going out with you guys. I like drinking and eating with you guys. But I do understand that my role as a shop owner is I do have to be the bad guy sometimes. And they understand that when I do, you know, have to put that foot down, that it's for a good reason. And I explain to them why. And I try to like, you know, see it from their perspective. Are they going to like it at the end of the night? Probably not, you know, but I'm hoping that they understand that I respect them as my artist to, you know, get why I'm being harsh about it.
Yeah.
I'm running it like I would run the fire station because that's the only thing I know. So I am strict because of those standards that I had growing up. And then like I'll have firemen come in there and stuff like that. They're like, you just build your own fire station here, you know that, right? And I was like,
how funny.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So
he has a gym in the backyard of his shop.
Fuck, that's so sick. I wish we could have something like that. You're so fucking ripped, bro. No, that would be it.
Yeah, one guy uses it like maybe once a month, you know, and then we're all like, I could do that. And we'll all hit one rep and then we never do it again.
Wait, once the competition starts and then it ends.
Before we get too far, so Nick, you'd say mentor then, right?
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah. Small world. I remember you had brought it up one time.
I think so.
Okay, wait.
South Raymond.
So Nick mentored your mentor.
No. My mentor mentored Nick.
Oh, so you're his tattoo uncle, because that would make Nick your tattoo brother.
Yeah. Crazy.
Hey, stop talking to your uncle like that. I'm just kidding. Spank him.
He's one of those uncles that you don't allow around the kids, you know. You're like, oh, like
why do people keep telling me?
Yeah, like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with Uncle Jimmy. And they're like, no, you're not.
No,
You're
no,
gonna
Not
sit
by
in this
yourself,
chair.
not by
You're gonna sit in this
yourself,
chair. Yeah, take your sister with you. Yeah, but that's crazy. Yeah, I told him I was coming here, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I think we had the same mentor and stuff like that.
Super small world.
I know. That's
that
so
is crazy.
On that note, we're going to move on to the tattoo cover-up segment. That's the part of the show, as we told you, where we have our guests or our listeners tell us a crazy story that's either something embarrassing they've done, something they regret, something they did that was maybe bad and they got away with it, or maybe they got caught.
Or something sexy.
Or
miraculous.
Or ghost story.
Or ghostly.
Yeah, ghostly.
Ghostly.
Ghastly. So something that you should either keep covered up or that people don't believe or whatever. You get the idea.
Okay, so I'm very transparent with everything, and I think most people that know me, if you ask, I have no shame on it. There are parts that have kind of made me the person who I am.
Good for you.
I would say the most thing that I kind of a little bit embarrassed is, like I was saying, I almost lost my fucking testicles. In a motorcycle accident. So
couldn't find them, huh?
I couldn't find them. They're deep inside. No, so
take us there.
I've had two motorcycle accidents. The first one I wasn't too stressed about, and which was the gnarlier one. I feel like out of the two.
Jesus, what is wrong
I
with you?
I was leaving my apprenticeship, and we never really talked too much about like tattoo stuff most of the time. Like just kind of hanging out. But that day we started talking about it, and me and my mentor had gone on a ride that day. So I took the bike to the shop and everything, and I wanted to leave by 9 because it was supposed to rain. And I didn't end up doing that. And then by the time I left, it was like 2 a.m. It was raining. It was from like downtown Fullerton area, so I was trying to beat traffic. And I was coming around this curve right on the 91, and there's a wood pallet in the middle of the lane.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and I couldn't see it, because I had I think it was a 06 like Sportster at that time. So the lights weren't that great, and I remember seeing it kind of coming up, and I'm like, is that cardboard or what is that? And as it came closer,
I'm gonna jump it.
Yeah, I had no choice. Well, I was like in a lean, so I was like, if I fucking swerve, I'm gonna get bucked off, And it came a little closer, and I was going fast as fuck because I was trying to, beat the rain. I was going like 90.
So it wasn't raining yet?
Not yet.
But
I was going 90, and I knew I was going 90 because if I pushed it to like 94, the bike would wobble, so I had to keep it below
that. So you weren't quite wobbling yet.
Yeah, no. And then I was leaning into it, and I saw it, and I remember I got closer, and I saw that it was a wood pallet. And in my mind, all I remember saying is, fuck. And when that K sound hit my brain, I just felt like a little jolt, and then I was just kind of flying. And I just tumbled across the fucking freeway.
Nestor.
And I remember I was rolling for so long. I remember being like, I was like, I think my arms are still attached. I was like, it feels like my legs are rolling with me. So I was like, I don't think I broke anything. I was like, but I was actively spinning, like sliding across the freeway. And I was like, I think everything is solid on me,
All this in that half second.
Oh, dude, time really does slow down, like so
What was
much.
the traffic situation like?
I have no idea. Well, when I took the tumble, it was still relatively open, but it was like 1:45, almost 2 a.m. In like coming from downtown Fullerton, so it was like a weeknight too. So I was like, there's gonna be drunk drivers and shit.
Oh my god!
But I remember coming to a slide at the end, and I was like, okay, I'm alive for now. I was like, I don't know where I'm at. I couldn't see anything. My vision was completely gone.
What the fuck?
And I was just kind of like, I would try to get up and I couldn't. There was so much pain. And I was like, where the fuck am I? I was like, am I on the carpool lane? Am I on the shoulder? I was like, I feel like it's still concrete underneath me. And I was like, what do I do? Do I roll? And I was like, what if I'm in a safe spot and I roll into a car? I was like, I couldn't hear anything. And mind you, this is all like a split second. Like, it's not like, I'm laying there for 40 minutes.
Was your helmet still on?
Yeah. So I still had my gloves, but I felt like it broke my hand. I couldn't really stand up and I couldn't see anything. And I remember just laying there and I was like, I'm gonna fucking die. Like, there's nothing I can do. Like, if I lay down, they're just gonna run me over. I can't stand up. I can't get away. I was like, I'm gonna fucking die. And I remember laying there, and when I made that realization, I was like, damn, somebody's gonna have to tell my mom that I got fucking splattered across the freeway, or she's gonna see it on the news.
You're like, I'm gonna be in so much trouble.
Yeah, I was like, she's gonna be so pissed. And then all I could think about is like, damn, my family's gonna have to go to my funeral. Like, this sucks. And I just kind of sat there and I was like, I don't care who, Satan, Jesus, Buddha, whoever the fuck wants my soul, just get me the fuck off this freeway. And like I remember just laying there and I was like, I'm just gonna die. And I just kind of like relaxed and like I felt like everything kind of like melted away and I couldn't hear anything.
Whoa.
And I kind of just waited there and nothing happened. And I was like, and I looked to the side and my vision was super blurry and it's kind of focusing, but it was just all the cars had stopped. I ended up refusing
my
transport
God.
that one.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
He's a firefighter. He knows what he's
it was
doing.
early on into me being a fireman, and the medics that showed up found out I was a fireman. They're like, dude, like, you know we have to take you. I was like, no, I'm good. My legs just hurt. So I ended up leaving there.
They're like, your leg is over there.
Yeah. I signed out against medical advice, and I told my homie to come pick me up. And as soon as I got off the freeway, like all the adrenaline kicked off, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking die. Like I should have gone.
Fuck.
Yeah, and my buddy was already on his way, and he picked me
That's
up.
when
and
the pain set in?
Yeah, that's when everything settled in, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking die. And he gave me a ride to the ER. I was like, we have to go to the ER. Like, dropped me off. They x-rayed me. They said my ankle was sprained and my wrist was sprained. Turned out my leg was broken. Like my ankle was shattered. And I didn't find out for like 3 months. So that was the first accident, and it ended up healing. So I have like limited rotation on this leg. That was the first accident. The second accident was a few years later. I was gonna sell the bike.
Oh my God, I forgot there's a second accident.
Yeah, the second accident was when I almost lost my fucking balls. And the funniest part about that whole thing was I was going that day to sell the bike. I had made an appointment with Harley
to donate sperm.
Yeah, I had made an appointment to go sell the bike at the dealership, and I left my house and I was going down 7th Street right in front of the VA hospital, and which is like a normal, like kind of major road, but nothing crazy. So I was going like 40, 45, and I was going to get gas, and I took my eyes off the road for 2 seconds, not even that, because I was like, oh, I'm going to pull into the gas station. I got to see what cars are coming in and out so I could plan where I'm going to go, because you always have to kind of think ahead. And like the second I looked over, I saw like white flash kind of go across.
Yeah.
And when that did, I went back and it was just a van that had like was in stop traffic and he just cut to my lane, and I couldn't do anything about it. So I ended up T-boning him. I ended up sliding up the bike. It threw me into the side of the van with my lower half, and it threw me over the van. And I got up and I was like, oh fuck! Like that one, I felt instantly. It wasn't as aggressive what I felt like from the first accident. So I felt everything instantly, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking die. I'm gonna fucking die. Like I felt it, and I felt this huge pain on my left side. And I was like, my time as a medic, I was like, I ruptured my spleen. I'm probably bleeding out into my stomach. Like I feel like I'm gonna pass out. And the guy hadn't got out of the car. And I was like, this motherfucker's gonna run. I know it. And some old guy had stopped. He's like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, can you call an ambulance? And he's like, I don't have. He's like, I don't have my phone. I don't know. I was like, God damn it, dude. Like, useless, And I was so pissed. And I looked back at the car, and the guy's like looking around. I was like, he's going to take off. I could either take a photo of his license plate, or I could call an ambulance, but I can't do both. So I was like, fuck this fool. And I just got my phone. I called 911. And the second I picked up, he like took off. And I started kind of like leaning over towards the side. And as soon as I hit the ground, like, or the sidewalk, I just fell over. And I was like on the phone with the ambulance. So they sent the medics and everything. And I remember before the medics showed up, I was still married at that time. And I called her and I was like, hey, she was at the dentist appointment. And I was like, damn, she's going to freak out. And I was like, hey, I got into a little accident. I was like, they're going to want to take me to the hospital. You know how it is. Like,
how it is.
Yeah, I was like, I'll text you.
How it is, rocking and rolling.
I was like, I'll text you when I find out what hospital I'm in, but I'm fine. They're not going to let me like sign out, And I hung up and I was like,
you're like,
yeah.
But before you hang up, you don't want kids, right?
Yeah. No, I was just like,
your balls are in your hand.
Yeah, I was just like, I love you. I'll talk to you a little bit later. All right, later.
Calm.
All super calm. And I hung up and I was like, oh,
hey, quick question.
Yeah, the medic showed up and they're like, they cut off most of my clothes and they put me in a seat collar and everything. And they found out I was a medic too, mainly because I told them, because I wanted a little bit of special treatment. And then he started an IV, gave me a ton of fentanyl, and I was like, ooh,
that's the one.
This is the one right here.
I should crash more.
Yeah, well, they rushed me to the trauma. They did all their assessment. Everything came back somewhat okay.
What? Okay.
Well,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
so it keeps going. So they discharged me a few hours with a bunch of pain meds and stuff like that. And a follow-up visit like a month later with my doctor. So I went home, and my chick helped me carry myself into the house because I couldn't walk. I couldn't do shit. And the pain just kept getting worse. Like the first day, it was pretty gnarly. And I forgot what they gave me. I want to say Vicodin or something else, but it was strong as fuck. And I was taking one like every 4 hours, but like if I missed it by like 5 minutes, I was in extreme pain. And this was 3 days into it. I hadn't gone to the bathroom because opioids usually back you up.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, damn, I haven't shit. I was like, this pain is getting so much worse, and it felt like it was in my balls, but I was like, I didn't want to touch anything because everything hurt. And I would wake up, I'd immediately take the pain medicine. She'd help me get to the couch. I would like lay there all fucking day. I would pee in a vase because I couldn't get up to use the bathroom. And it was like the 3rd or 4th day I was running out of pain meds, and I was like, dude, like, I have to go back to the hospital. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, let me take some Advil. I'll be chill. She rushed me back to the ER like at, I don't know, 2 a.m. They ultrasounded my leg, and they're like, hey, you have a ton of blood inside your leg. We don't know where it's coming from, so you're gonna have to stay. And I was like, all right. So they put me in an ER room. She waited with me all night. They gave me a fuck ton of meds, and the doctor comes in. He's like, yeah, your sac is full of blood too. So,
he said it like that.
No, that wasn't even the worst part. So they he's like, you have to see the urologist and the surgeon in the morning. Or the urologist is what they told me. And I was like, okay. So at that point I was hopped up on morphine too. So I was finally.
You're like, that sounds great.
Yeah. I was like, I was like, no, it just felt like warm, And I was like, ooh,
capillaries open.
What's that?
That is how it feels, all warm.
What is that? The Beatles? Love is a warm gun.
Yeah.
Like I was Harrison Ford, dude. I was like, I felt that shit. But then the surgeon walks in. It's a young dude, and he has his backpack. He has his little Starbucks cup, and he's like looking through it. He's like, yeah. He's like, so yeah, I was looking at your file. Yeah, it looks like your testicles are pretty damaged. And I was like, one more time? Like, he's like, yeah.
Fucking bedside manner.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. So he's like, I don't know the extent of the damage until I get a look at them. So we have to like figure out what, how much blood is in there and stuff like that. And I was like, is that an x-ray or something? He's like, oh no, you're going to go to surgery. I was like,
oh,
we're doing that today?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the next few hours, I think.
We're going to cut into your balls today.
And I was like, which way are we leaning? Like, should I start saying bye to the boys,
Yeah.
Or are we kind of leaning towards like, oh, they're salvageable? And I shit you not, he told me, he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I could open you up and everything's fine, or everything could be scrambled up. He's like, I'm not really sure.
Scrambled?
Yeah. And I was like,
scrambled eggs?
Yeah. And I looked at him
Huevos?
and I was like, oh, sick. Cool. Like, yeah, that seems fucking like a normal response. But I kind of also fucked with the nonchalantness of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I kind of want this guy doing it,
Yeah.
Like, versus somebody that's like, oh, well, like.
I don't want this guy fucking wearing his Beats.
Yeah, no, I do. I was
Exploring
like,
my
yeah,
balls.
he was so chill. And I was like, I respect that,
Yeah.
He's been around some testicles before.
This guy knows balls.
This guy's wife.
I need my doctors to have some chalant. They can't be so nonchalant.
Nah, that's what you want. You want those fools that are like kind of jaded, because they've been around, they've seen it. So yeah, and then my chick had gone home, and I called her. I was like, hey, apparently I'm getting surgery because I might lose my testicles. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, no, it's just as shocking to me as it is to you. Like,
Want to come say bye?
Yeah. And she's like, you want me to go back? I was like, no, you just got home. Like, get some rest. Like, they didn't even tell me what time surgery is. They'll give you a call and this and that. So yeah. And then they took me to the OR. They gave me a bunch of pain meds. And I remember the doctor, the anesthesiologist, was talking to me. He's like, where do you live? I was like, oh, in Long Beach. He started talking about sushi. And he's like, what's your favorite spot? I was like, oh, I like the place. Out.
I hate it when they do that shit.
Yeah, he didn't even warn me or anything. He's like, oh, what place do you like? I was like, oh, I really like Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Like,
you made me look like a fool back
there. And then
they probably get so much entertainment out of that.
Yeah. And then I was like, he didn't care about me at all, dude.
He said, I don't care, bitch.
Yeah, that sushi place sucks. And then I woke up a few hours later and I was like sleepy. Like, obviously I didn't know what was happening. My eyes were still closed. And I remember the nurse being like, oh, like, where do you get your tattoos and this and that? And I was like, oh, and I had just gotten this one like not too long ago. I was like, oh, I got this one in New York, and this and that. And I was like, I opened myself. And like, yeah, I was like, what the fuck? She's like, relax. She's like, you're out of surgery. Like, everything's good. I was like, did I?
Yeah.
Am I whole?
Yeah.
Like, and she's like,
yeah, all you have is a hole now.
Yeah, yeah. No. She's like, I don't know. Let me check the notes. I was like, why would you not be ready with that information?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think my first question is? Oh, you have great hair. Like, no, bitch. I want to know if I still have balls, dude. Like,
unless you want to know about that sushi place.
Yeah, no, that was a different one. Yeah, and then she's like,
and can you let the doctor know the name of the place was?
I need to speak to that surgeon right now. No, and she's like, I think everything's here. She's like, I'll talk to the surgeon. He'll come in and talk to you. Which usually is like not a good sign.
Right.
I would tell that to people. It's like, oh, the doctor will talk to you.
Dude, those nurses or assistants, I don't know what they can really fuck your head up for a little bit.
So the surgeon came over and he's like, everything's good. He's like, we just had to cut your testicle. So he's like, you were bleeding into your leg, you were bleeding into your like scrotum. And the other part, the part that was causing me so much pain was I had squished the testicle, and the testicle is surrounded in like a wrap, basically. So all that pressure was building in there, and it was basically somebody squeezing my testicle like harder and harder every day.
So just the pressure was building.
And that's where the pain was. So they drained it. I think they cauterized a few veins and vessels that I had ruptured in my leg.
I was about to make a joke like that right
now. And then, he's like, we just cut it. We drained out some blood. We stitched up everything we could, and you should be fine. And then he's like, you have to wear this like special underwear for a little bit, like kind of holding everything in there.
It's lingerie.
Yeah. And no, just a little thong. He's like, you got to send me photos every day of you in it. No. And then I had to follow up like a month later. The stitches dissolved internally. So it was all fine. And then he's like, you should be good. He's like, obviously, if you're going to have any kind of sexual activity, like, be careful. And I remember that first time, like, my chick was like, you want me to try? And I was like, yeah, but be like careful,
You're like a girl losing her virginity.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know what's going to come out of there. Like, is it going to be blood? Like, is it going to hurt? Like, I don't fucking know. And it was the weirdest, like, hand job I've ever received in my life, from my wife at that time. And it was like, and I was like getting close and I was like, okay, don't look, keep going, but don't look. And I looked down and I was like, oh, okay, everything's fine. And I felt fine. I was like, perfect.
Now lick it up, you dirty bitch.
Yeah, so I got to keep everything. The boys are, still intact, thank God.
Let's hear it for the boys, dude.
Yeah, a little round of sausage.
We got our boys, dude.
Yeah, but that was the moment where I was like, you know what? She has a point. I should sell the bike. Like, I'm not riding anymore.
The bike was in a smash.
It was total. It was totaled. And the best part about it, it almost cost me a testicle, but I got double what I would have gotten from the dealership. So,
you could have got that by switching to Geico, though.
I could have, yeah. So that's but I got to keep the boys,
So they never found the guy that did the hit and
No,
run?
I gave him part of the license plate of what I could remember and make and model, but they never found the dude.
Do you know what I kept thinking every time you talked about the impact? I just pictured your chocolate razor. What was it called?
The chocolate,
Envy.
It starts playing The Doors again.
No,
it's like down,
just twitching and shit. The first motorcycle accident, I was wearing Dickies, I was wearing Converse, I had a flannel jacket or a Pendleton. I still have it, or a Patagonia flannel. I can't remember.
Say Pendleton.
But I had my iPhone in my pocket with no case, nothing like that. I tore the shit out of my back skin. Like, I had a giant road rash patch like this. Most of the skin on my arm was peeled off. I had broken a couple of wrist bones and my ankle. And my fucking phone, not a scratch.
Was it an OtterBox?
No, there was no case on it. No case on it. Like,
but then you sneeze and your shit cracks.
It ripped a hole out of my pocket from where I slid on my pants. Phone perfectly intact. And then like when I went back to work, I remember I always put my phone on top of like the toilet dispenser, because I'm watching videos or whatever, and it fell off like maybe 2 feet, shattered in pieces. I was like, this thing survived a 90-mile motorcycle accident.
Worst day ever.
Yeah, I was like, but it can't survive a 2-foot fall.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this phone.
Damn, dude. I'm so glad you're still with us, as well as your boys.
I am too, yeah. I never really thought how much they mean to you. Like, I feel like we take them for granted because they're there. Almost like saying goodbye to them. I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy. Like I didn't even really, I didn't appreciate it. Yeah, am I gonna talk?
Is it just gonna be an empty sack? Does the sack get removed?
Maybe I would have been happier without them. Maybe that's what turned me evil.
Okay,
keeping the boys. They got angry at me.
Hey, some boys be evil.
Yeah.
They said, oh no, this time they got a new lease on life, and they were like, everyone's getting fucked up.
We're taking the world by it.
This might be a stupid question, but do your testicles are what make testosterone as well as sperm?
Medic.
A lot of it is hormone based, off of like your pituitary gland and stuff like that. But yeah, your testicles produce a lot of hormones too, like that.
Okay,
That's why with guys that take steroids and everything like that, your balls shrink. because your body
Oh,
has a
that's right,
limit
that's right.
cap of what kind of hormones it has. And when it senses that your hormone levels are high, when people start taking huge amounts of steroids, your body's like, oh shit, we got to stop producing testosterone. And it'll shut down those factories, and then it'll shut down your testicles, and they'll shrink up.
I guess I'll just have to tell people I'm taking steroids.
That's why you can fit into those things, huh? Like, to that can. Yeah.
That can.
What? What? So if somebody loses their testicles, do they start testosterone therapy? Or?
You should, yeah. And that's it's either injection or you take like at that point I feel like you would have to have injection because you wouldn't have anything to produce
Right.
anymore, you know.
Okay.
So that was an incredible story. We're so glad you made it out.
I am too.
Yeah,
And we're
dude.
so glad
No
you
more
made
bikes?
No more bikes. Every now and then some dude rips like down the street next to me and I'm like,
You get the
it.
it.
Every now and again, some bikes.
yeah, I got onto my friend's bike one time and I was like, I'm just gonna take it around the block. He's like, yeah, go for it. And I sat there and I'm like, no, I'm good.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I turned it on. I was like, no, this weighs too much, dude.
Yeah.
You
You
can take it.
need those hands. You need those balls.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't
Messing
fuck up
up.
my hands more. I ended up just fracturing a couple of bones, like the little small ones. But no real deficits from that. The only one that really fucked me up was the first one because my ankle doesn't go up.
Ooh.
So I can't really run. I can't do a lot
Oh.
of stuff when I come upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's pronate, right? To lift up. When I come upstairs, I have to walk like sideways and stuff like that. 'cause I
Oh.
can't- Or I'll do tippy toes because I can't bend it up like.
Yeah,
so
so it's
that's like the only problem I've ever had with it. But yeah, I was really lucky. I don't know who the fuck wanted me on this earth, but somebody did, and I'm still here.
We want you.
I think
on
the
this
world
earth.
wanted you on this earth.
I hope
Now
so.
tell the listeners and the viewers where they can find you on this earth.
In some dark, depressive hole, I would imagine.
In a freezing cold apartment.
Yeah. No. I don't have money for that anymore now. My electric bill's
Now
too high.
You've gone back to your humble
Yeah,
beginnings of fans.
I just opened the windows
And a box man.
Back to shooting rats.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh.
No. We're at Fear City in Long Beach, right across the street from Alex's bar. I'm there most days, if not every day. I live right down the street, so it's like that's what I wanted to. I was tired of driving to Venice, so So
How do
That's
people
awesome.
book with you?
just message me. I would
On
love
your
to.
IG.
Instagram?
Yeah, IG. Yeah. Show up to my house. I don't care. Like,
Don't show up to his
uh,
house. He might like shoot you or something.
I'm not one of those guys that's gonna say I'm booked up for 80 million years. You call me at 2 a.m. and it's a cool idea. I'll show up to the shop. I was like, I don't care.
What is your Instagram handle and the one for the shop?
Fuck, I don't even know it. Zelaya Tattoos.
We'll put it.
Yeah, I think
Got
it's
it.
Zelaya Tattoos, and the Fear City one, it's Fear City LB.
Lastly, do you have any conventions coming up? I'm sure you guys have Friday the 13th coming up in March.
We do. We have a couple of events coming up, actually. We have the Friday the 13th. We have, I don't know if I should be revealing it or I should let Ozzy do it, but we have this idea of a shop takeover. So we're going to bring all the Fear City boys out to Riverside, and we're just going to kind of take over their shop for the day and run like kind of flash specials. So it's like a
that's
8-person
cute.
guest artist day,
That's
we're just
cool.
gonna have a party. So thank for Ozzy and Wayne for like letting us try out these stupid ideas,
Yeah.
It could be a fail, but we have that going on March 8th, which I think is a Sunday. So if you're in
Okay.
Riverside, let us know. And then we have Friday the 13th, the week after that. We have the shop anniversary party, March 28th. So we usually try to get vendors, food vendors. If you guys have anybody or your guests or clients want to come by and sell some stuff, we don't charge you commission. You just sell your
cool.
shit and make some bread. We usually try to have a ton of artists, and we make like a little mini convention. So
How
we usually have
fun.
like, I think last year we had like 16 or 18 artists in that tiny little space.
God damn, dude.
Yeah, so it was,
On top of each other.
yeah, it was cool though. But we just want to party. We made it to the 2 years, so it's been a fucking ride.
Congratulations, man.
Thank
That's awesome.
you.
Yeah, congrats.
And then we're planning an art show for one of a really good friend and tattooer who got picked up by ICE.
Oh,
So
fuck.
that's gonna be in April. That shit is crazy. That fool was in a federal penitentiary, like as a
Jesus.
holding. They treat him like he's been
Oof.
running drugs, like it's insane. So we're gonna be announcing that pretty soon, but we have a lot of good artists coming on board to try to help him. So
Right? Well,
Awesome. Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for coming by.
thanks for having me,
Yeah,
man. This is
man.
a pretty full circle moment. So,
Right?
yeah, Jimmy was one of the first like professional tattooers I started getting tattooed by.
And he's your uncle.
Yeah. The one that touches me, yeah. I told him no. It's my fault. I shouldn't have been wearing those skirts.
If you ever actually lose your balls, you could use mine.
Ah, there you go. If I lose my balls, give me a call.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, bud, go ahead and get that.
All right.
Wait, we got to plug our stuff real quick.
Okay.
We are going to be in Salt Lake City March 7th, whatever that weekend is, and then we're going to be in
the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon State Convention, which is in Phoenix, Arizona, and that is the weekend of Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
And
I will be in Las Vegas at the Viva Las Vegas Rockabilly Weekend tattooing in the middle of April sometime. I think that's all I have.
Okay. And then we have Prescott, Arizona, the Northern Arizona Tattoo Convention, and that is the weekend of 4th of July.
Yeah, that's it.
And then that's it for us.
All right. So at the end of every episode, we have our guests look at the camera and say, thanks for watching the Tattoo Budcast. We'll see you at your next session.
I already forgot half of what you just said.
Everyone
but thanks
does.
for watching. We'll see you at your next
session.
There you go.
Close enough.
That's that brain damage from the motorcycle accident. Sorry.
His brain is as damaged as his balls.
There you go.
Man, that would fuck me up, dude. Anything happening to my balls. I got an ingrown hair, dude, and I had a heart attack.
Yeah, it's terrifying, honestly.
He has really hairy balls.
I was just...
They're like regular hairy.
I like kiwis,